Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Brew with Memli. It has been a while since we haven't done a Brew with Memli episode, I believe since Burundi, right? And here we are back with a new episode of Brew with Memli where we will introduce our new lot, the Faro Estate coffee from Tolima in Colombia. As usual, before we dive into the brewing, I'm going to give some background on why we choose this coffee, how we roasted it, and then we're gonna dive into the brew. So a couple of years ago, when I traveled in Colombia, that's where I really discovered my passion for coffee. And Colombia has always been a huge impact and influence in everything I do, from the nature, the landscapes, the weather, and the people. It's really a mixture, a melting pot of a lot of goodness. And it inspired us in Memli Coffee Lab. One of my motto, one of my tagline, my kind of philosophy is beauty from the inside out. And we can really clearly see that in Colombia, for example, or in Colombian coffee. And so I wanted to find a coffee that best sort of showcase the Colombian terroir and also the Colombian people. I wanted more than just taste here. I really wanted a sustainable impact and a social, economical impact for the farmer. So both for the planet, but also for the people that farm our coffee. And that's where I found out this particular lot. In the beginning, it was really like a blind cupping, and I couldn't believe that that was an estate lot. It was very clean, transparent, and sweet and fruity. Something really similar to like a micro lot, but it's actually an estate lot from Tolima. This coffee has been brought to us by our partner producer, Equation Coffee in Colombia. And basically, the idea here is that instead of letting those farmers figure out how to enter the specialty coffee market, they tasted a bunch of lots. And at each lot, they took the best of each farmers and farms and put them together so that they can bring those farmers who doesn't have access to the market. Because you see, those famous farms and brands, they have maybe the resources and the knowledge to get online, for example, or know someone in the market in a supply chain. But some farmers, a lot of farmers actually, they don't have internet, they don't have a computer. And so that barrier of entry to the specialty market, it's hard for them, not because they don't know how to make great coffee, but because they don't have the knowledge or the connection to do so. And that's where I'm saying, like, we're looking for this sustainable impact with more social, economical effort at the farm, is by bringing more people towards specialty coffee, by allowing them to be part of this journey. And that's what the team at Equation did wonderfully with this estate lot Faro from Tolima. And this is basically a mix of different varietals, such as Típica, a bit of Castillo, and Catura, both all really scoring quite higher in the 80s, 85 and up. And the idea is, once again, to really bring the best of each farmers. Besides that kind of social economical impact, they also start with the soil, which is specific to Equation Coffee, and it's kind of the way I work as well. When I roast coffee, I focus a lot on the green coffee. And as a farmer, I believe they focus on the soil because that's what gives the food to the tree, which will kind of blossom and give us the fruits. But they start with the kind of input, the main input. In any system, if your input is good, your output would be better. I hope so. And so I have this philosophy of mine since I started Memli Coffee Lab by really focusing on the green coffee. And what I love about them is that they're doing the same, but starting with the soil. And they've seen, as a result, like an impact of organic matter by 0.4%, and also an impact on the net revenue for the producer of more than 20%, which is quite impressive because remember, those are farmers who don't have access to specialty market, but now they can. All right, how now I roasted this coffee? Well, light as usual. It is a 10-minute roast with only a minute and 35 seconds, a minute and 40 seconds development time. The idea, once again, was just to bring enough sweetness but leave those natural, fresh qualities that are in these coffees. Previously to our roast, I did 5 sample roast, like a reference, which was the sample reference. One with more development, one with higher temperature, one with less development, and one with lower temperature. And usually with more development, I found a little more astringency and dryness in the cup. With higher temperature, more, it's almost like burning the caramel that is in this coffee notes. With less development, it gets quite in the malic tartness. And with less temperature, it was a little bit more kind of balanced to my liking. So here, I really choose the last sample or reference by ending it slightly lower than usual. All right, let me bring the hot water and let's brew this coffee. So I am using a V60 with an Abaca Plus cone filter. I'm kind of trying to use that one plus or the classic one. Both are good. I'm still kind of playing with both, but I like how this one gave me some nice results. First thing first, rinsing the filter and especially preheating our ceramic. You remember, this is kind of like a battery of temperature, so I'm pouring at least 100 mils of water as a rinse or preheat of that ceramic V60. My ratio is 62 grams per liter. I'll be using here 15 grams for 240 mils of water at 92 degrees. My water recipe here is 50 ppm of alkalinity. I did 25 ppm of calcium and 50 ppm of magnesium. The pouring structure is very simple. It's going to be 4 pours of 60 mils. Here we go. Perfect. And my grind size here is slightly below number 8 on my reading, which is 800 microns. So I would say kind of 780, 790. On a Comandante, here we will be at 26, 27 clicks. On the Baratza Anchor, I will be somewhere between 16 and 17. So still in the medium side, but tad finer here. That's because we are in a light roast section. And I start always with concentric circles, quite high and aggressive in the beginning. And as I will pour the second and the third pour, I'll be a little bit more gentle. So as I explained, my main goal with this coffee was really to highlight the regional characteristic of Tolima. And besides also showcasing the best of Colombia, the beauty from the inside out, I also wanted to show people that we don't need to break the bank in order to have delicious coffee. This coffee is really affordable, but yet really good. I couldn't believe it was at that price, which is already much more than what the farmers are getting paid, right? And a little more philosophically, it's a reminder to us that we all have a treasure in our garden. And life is really about discovering that garden and cultivating this treasure. It's a little bit philosophical, but if you know me, I always go a little bit on that tangent. But I truly believe that we all have already some really valuable things, whatever it is. And here, those farmers, they have excellent soil, excellent trees. They just don't have access to it. And so I wanted, the same way Equation Coffee gave access to the market, I want also this coffee, I want to give access to a lot of flavor potential. And I want more people to enjoy great coffee without breaking the bank. The SCA cupping score here is an 86 with very nice combination of flavor, acidity, and body. Nice aromas as well, but much more on that flavor quality. And as it cools down, it doesn't lose that caramelly aspect of it either. So it's a really solid cup of coffee that stays in the time. Coming back to the brew a little bit. So 4 times 60 mils, and we want to end somewhere between 2.5 minutes and 3 minutes. If you go past that, it may get some dryness on the aftertaste. And here we are done at exactly 2:31. Okay. Let's put our coffee here, and let's do some assessment here. All right. And so when we smell, the first thing that comes to your mind is a very light caramel syrup and with some cinnamon here, like a cinnamon bun or cinnamon cake. I want to drink it now so we can kind of give a little first impression, but I need to cool it down. Very sweet and cinnamony. Bit of fruit as it cools down, but you'll see that the fruits will really manifest itself on the flavor. So I really can't believe this is a estate lot, right? Which is a combination of a few hundred farmers. And that's where you still got the caramel, a bit less the cinnamon, but much more pear. That's this kind of pear, syrupy, it's kind of juicy plus texture. And a green grape flavor here. The acidity is malic, so similar to like a green grape or green apple. And aftertaste is very clean, medium length, but there's no dryness, no harshness. Sometimes when a coffee has too much of those dark chocolatey notes, it can get bitter. Interestingly here, no bitterness at all. So really on the caramel notes, and as it cools down, that's why I really love this coffee, it becomes slightly more green fruity, like pear and green grapes. Overall, an excellent cup of coffee, very affordable and still great to show people that we can still make something great by looking at what we have in our garden and focusing on the soil and cultivating in our garden to produce amazing coffee that benefits both the planet, the biodiversity, but also the people in our producing region. So that's why I really wanted to have more impact at the farm without compromising the quality. And this lot to me really stands out. First by the flavor, because you remember, I always pick based on the flavor first. And then it breaks this misconception of, but if it's, a state, it might be less of a quality. Maybe, maybe not. And so I like how we are breaking those stigma around coffee, and how this one is a really good showcase or a good example of a great project at the farm. Now it's perfect with its temperature. Now I get the cinnamon, the caramel, the pears, the grapes, and a great project that benefits everyone in the supply chain, the farmer, the exporter, the importer, but also the roaster and you, the consumer. I always include the consumer in that feedback loop, because with this coffee that is slightly more affordable than others that we have, you can still have an amazing experience with a lot of sweetness and fruitiness, acidity, brightness, juiciness. Pairs well with some food, but also some savory food. More information on our website. Give us a try. This is our coffee for our September subscribers. And see you next time for another new drop.